So I just transferred $8,595 out of my JP Morgan Chase savings account to Ally Bank. I wanted to take even more advantage of the 18th APY increase just this year. APY stands for annual percentage yield and is basically just the interest you make on your money per year. And with the 18th increase this year, rather than just be happy that the APY keeps going up, I wanted to figure out why the APY is going up. So in this video, I'm going to show you the APY at a high yield savings account bank like Ally versus the traditional bank like JP Morgan Chase. I'm also going to tell you my strategy of what money should go into the high yield savings account versus what money should just be invested in the market or something else. And finally, I'm going to share with you what I've learned about what makes the APY fluctuate. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up, and I'll share with you all of my learnings there. So welcome to Creating Cash Flow. And be sure to hit that like button so YouTube knows the best video to show others that are also interested in learning about high yield savings accounts. All right, so let's get started. This is on the Ally website, and this is basically going to compare Ally between the other traditional banks. So as you can see here, Bank of America, Chase, and Wells Fargo. So I have actually used Ally for the past 5 or 6 years. I mainly use them as a savings account, and I've really liked them. When the pandemic hit back in March, I noticed that the APY that I was earning, it kept going down and down and down, and I started getting frustrated, but I never actually went and did any research to understand why does the Ally Bank keep going down, the APY keep going down. I just figured that it was this huge ploy to bring your money over, and they're like, hey, we have a very high yield savings account, but then once they started getting the money they wanted, they just started dropping it like every other bank. But I've recently learned that's not the case, because recently my APY at Ally keeps going up and up and up. As I mentioned, this is already the 18th increase just this year in 2022. So I finally am getting curious enough to figure out what is going on. But if we look at this, you can see that Ally has no monthly maintenance fees, where some of these other banks do have maintenance fees. And the big thing that we want to look at here is Ally currently has a 3.3% annual percentage yield, whereas where I just pulled that $8,595 from Chase Bank at a 0.01% annual percentage yield. So I just did some quick math, and basically $8,595 sitting in my Chase account will earn me about 72 cents per month. Where if I switch it over to Ally and I earn a 3.3% annual percentage yield, rather than the 72 cents per month, I'd actually be earning $23.64 per month. So high yield savings accounts definitely do make a difference. And I know this is on the Ally website, so I went and did some additional research and pulled this in. And basically the Chase saving interest rates, this is advertised on chase.com, but it really is a 0.01% annual percentage yield. So if you're now wondering what money to keep in Ally Invest or any high yield savings account, or invest in the stock market or something else, how can you make that decision? So I'm not saying my strategy is the correct one, but it's the one that makes the most sense for me. When I think about investing in tech startups or in the stock market, I'm usually thinking in terms of getting my money back in 5, 10, 15 years. So I'm thinking about a much longer term investment strategy of, I don't need this money. I won't need it in the next 1 to 3 years. So I'm going to invest it in the market and see what happens. So even if it is a high dividend earning stock, or a stock that I hope appreciates a lot, ideally I'm thinking about that money in a very long-term strategy, where money I think I may need in the next 1 to 3 years, I want to keep in a high yield savings account. Because even though it's not going to be beating inflation, it allows you to put your money to work in a very low risk way. So for example, if you're saving up to buy a duplex or a fourplex or some type of real estate property that you want to buy in the next 1 to 3 years, if you put it in Apple stock, or if you put it in SCHD or anything else, then when the perfect fourplex or whatever comes on the market, you may not be able to liquidate that money if the stock happens to be down that week. But if you keep it in a high yield savings account, it's been earning a decent amount of interest, and you can easily access that money to jump into another deal. So all in all, I basically use the high yield savings account for any money I think I'll want to use in the next 1 to 3 years. Anything that I don't want to use in the next 3 years, 5, 10, 15 years, I'll invest it into the market and let the market do its thing. So finally, I'm answering the question, why does the APY go up and go down? Why does it fluctuate so much? So the APY on a savings account is variable, which basically means when the economy is going really, really well, the APY will go up. This happens because the Federal Reserve raises interest rates. So right now, to combat the rising prices of inflation, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates in hopes to slow inflation. Because the Federal Reserve interest rates are going up, that makes money worse for borrowers and better for savers. Because borrowers want low interest rates while savers want high interest rates. So if you remember back to the beginning of the pandemic, in March of 2020, the Federal Reserve made 2 emergency rate cuts. And that's actually right around the time where I started experiencing the rate cuts from Ally Bank, and that kind of happened across all of the high yield savings accounts. So many banks reacted with rate cuts themselves. But if you're trying to save right now, it's a super great time to put your money into a high yield savings account because you're able to put your money to work for you with very low to no risk at all. Anyway, I hope that helps you understand a little bit better about why the APY with banks goes up and down and why that fluctuates. If you have any additional questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and remember that what you focus on grows. So focus on those things that will keep you moving toward your goals. See ya!